Good morning, Lester Prairie Schools. My name is Mr. Mockmill.
And I'm Mrs. Milady.
And this is the Ruff Report.
Staff Edition. The Minnesota State Fair is ending its 12-day run on Labor Day. Attendance this year is up from last. The new interesting food this year was the bacon-wrapped waffle dog, the birthday cake mini donuts, and the cheese curd stuffed pizza pretzel. Wow, that sounds fantastic.
I would try the mini donuts. What about you, Mrs. Milady?
I would try to avoid them all.
Hurricane Idalia made landfall today. The Category 3 hurricane hit the Gulf Coast of Florida with estimated winds around 125 miles per hour. The storm is causing catastrophic storm surge and damaging winds. The hurricane is expected to move inland today and slowly make its way up the coast by the end of the week. Now, off to Dr. Aniki for the superintendent's message.
Greetings, Bulldogs. I'm Superintendent Radicke. The building is always so lonely and empty during the summer when you're not here. I'm so glad you are back. My goal is to make this the best year ever. Please join me in making that happen. Here's to a super great best year ever.
Thanks, Dr. Aniki. Now off to Mrs. Helen with the new staff.
Hello, I am Mrs. Helen, and I am interviewing our new staff for this year. First up is Miss Noah. Welcome.
Hi.
So we have a couple questions for her. First thing, what is the strangest injury you've ever had?
Good question. So back when I was in high school, we had an away basketball game and we had to play pep band. And I was helping the percussionists unload the bus, and somebody forgot to zip the cymbal bag. So when I pulled the cymbals out of the bus, one of the cymbals fell on my toe, and I limped around for about 2 weeks.
That was rough. I remember that. And what was the most fun thing you did this past summer?
This summer I was at the Howard Lake Fair, and I did the Combine Derby, which was pretty fun. So it was different for me. So
Cool. And now, Miss Noah is a former Bulldog. And so what do you feel like is the biggest change you've had now that you're from a former student to teacher? What is different here?
I think the security is a lot different. That's was a little weird to me that you have to kind of scan a badge to kind of get all over the building. But I got passed everywhere, so go me.
All right, thank you, Miss Noah. This is Helen again. We are interviewing our new staff, and I have Mr. Magus with us today. So we have a couple questions for you. First, Apple versus Android.
I'd have to say Android. I have always been an Android user, and I'm a really big fan of Google and all their applications, so that's kind of what draws me in.
I won't hold it against you, but okay. Number two, what is your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet peeve is when you're standing in a line, especially when you're like getting food from like a buffet or something. People stand right behind you and don't give you space. I like my personal space. So.
Yeah, the bubble. I like the bubble.
Yeah.
And the last one, do you have like a really random fact or just a random fun fact for us?
Fun fact, when I was on a trip once, I was walking down the sidewalk and I passed Ricky Gervais just walking down the sidewalk.
Cool. That's
my claim to fame.
Nice. All right, and that's Mr. Magus for you today. Hello, Mrs. Helen, interviewing new staff, and with us I have our new kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Klein, and we have a couple questions for her. First up, what is a skill you wish you had?
I love to sing, but I have zero talent at singing. So you'll probably hear me singing because I'm a kindergarten teacher, but it probably won't be like American Idol worthy.
All right, how about if you won the lottery, what's the first thing you would buy?
I desperately need a new car. I was driving down the road not long ago and a big chunk of it fell off of my car and went rolling behind me. Thankfully, it was nothing important and nobody was behind me, so it all turned out okay, but a new car.
Oh my gosh, yes, that would be scary. What about, who's your favorite Disney princess and why?
My favorite Disney princess is Belle. She has a beautiful singing voice, which I'm jealous of, and she loves to read and read books, and just is very kind and nurturing.
All right, perfect. Welcome, Mrs. Klein.
Thank you.
Hello, I am Mrs. Helland, and we are interviewing our new staff. I have with us today Mrs. Flies, our new Title I teacher. We're going to ask her a couple questions. First up, dog versus cat.
Definitely cats.
Okay. Do you have one right now?
I have a cat. I did have dogs growing up, but cats are so much easier, less maintenance.
Okay. What about pizza toppings? What's your favorite pizza topping?
Pineapple. I like pepperoni and pineapple.
Together.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. How about did you have a favorite stuffed animal when you were growing up?
I did. One of my younger brothers and I had matching bears, and I named mine Cuddles, and his was Aaron.
Excellent. Do you still have?
I do.
Cuddles. Perfect. All right. Well, thank you. This is Mrs. Wise. Welcome. Hello again. It's Mrs. Helen, and I'm interviewing the new staff. I have Mrs. Hexon with us, our new nurse/para, and we have a couple questions for you. So first up, what Hogwarts house are you and why?
So usually I put myself in Slytherin because I had a huge crush on Draco Malfoy growing up.
Okay.
But when I take the test, I usually get Ravenclaw or Hufflepuff because I'm very kind, but I'm also book smart.
Ooh, nice. Okay. What about, do you remember one of your prom dresses? And if so, what did it look like?
So junior year, I had a hot pink dress with spaghetti straps and crisscrosses in the back, low cut, all the way down. And then senior year, I had a purple fairy dress. So it was purple, and then it had a flippy kind of skirt that was shorter.
Fun. Okay. And what about when you go to Below Zero, what toppings do you put on your frozen yogurt?
So I always do the strawberries and the syrup. That's my favorite. And then I love the hot fudge and the hot caramel. And I like to douse it in that a little bit.
And do you put that all together?
Oh, yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you, Mrs. Hexon.
Thank
Hello,
you.
Mrs. Holland here interviewing the new staff. And we have with us Mrs. Heinrow, maybe not new to everyone. So a couple questions for you. First up, if a student were to bring you a birthday treat, what would they bring?
Tootsie Rolls, they're my absolute favorite.
Perfect. What about, what's something that you've done that you would never want to do again?
I'd have to say bungee jumping on my 25th birthday from a county fair. Kids don't do that.
Yikes. Okay. What about, what's your favorite meal to cook?
It's kind of a loaded question. I have a sign in my kitchen that says I have a kitchen because it came with the house. So I don't cook. But if I had to, I make a mean peanut butter toast.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, thank you, Mrs. Hyman. Hello, Mrs. Holland again. I'm introducing our new staff. And now we have Mrs. Chapman, our new ELL teacher. So we have a couple questions for you. First one is, how much coffee do you drink in a day?
At least 2 cups of coffee. That's required.
Acceptable. What about if you could eat something every day, what would it be?
I love soup. I
Okay.
can eat soup every day.
Do you eat or drink soup?
It depends on the kind of soup. If it's like a chili, then you would eat it. If it's more of a bisque, then you would drink it.
Nice. What about, do you have a favorite dance move?
Floss,
Can you demonstrate for us, please?
if I must.
Hit it. And Mrs. Chapman, thank you.
And now we're off to our sports reporters with the Fall Coaches Report. Wait, nobody interviewed me for that.
Whoops. That was good.
Hi, I'm Lisa Feltman. I am here with varsity volleyball coach Brian Herman, and he's going to tell you a little bit about his season.
Our volleyball season has just begun. We are 1-2 so far in the early part of the season. Our volleyball team is young. We are working hard to get better every day. We have a JV or a junior high tournament September 9th that we host here at Lester Prairie, and our next home varsity game would be September 14th. We hope everybody can come out and watch us and enjoy the game.
Hi, I'm Kim Heimrow, and I'm here today with Coach Joe Skolik. He is our Lester Prairie head football coach, and he's here to tell you a little bit about the upcoming football season.
Yes, we have been going at it. This is our 3rd week. We had our scrimmage last Saturday. Did some good things, some not so good things. We know that. We got to get going on that a little bit, but we'll be ready. We play this Friday at JWP, and our goal is to bring home a victory.
Go Bulldogs!
Hi, I'm Mrs. Suram, and I'm here to introduce Coach Cappian, who is going to tell you more about the cross-country team.
Yes, so cross-country, I'm super excited. This is my first year working with the cross-country program. So we've been practicing for we're into our third week already. We've had a good couple weeks of just preparing and just kind of really getting in shape and building a base for the rest of our season. We have 15 runners out this year, a lot of student athletes who've been out for a number of years, with a couple also new younger runners. So they're working really hard. They're very coachable and they're learning the things that they need to. We had our first scrimmage at Norwood Young America. It was a conference scrimmage. Went very well, and then we had our first meet on last Saturday. That was also at Norwood. We had both teams finish second out of 4. We were very competitive. We had a first place finisher in the girls race. Addison Hoof took first place for the girls, and then we had 3 boys finished in the top 10. So also we were competitive on the boys side. So we're looking forward to keeping some momentum going, working even harder. We have a meet. Our next meet is at Mankato Loyola on it'll be Thursday, August 31st. And then we have meets coming up at TCU and again at Norwood. So we're really excited about what we're doing here this year, and hopefully we'll have more good things to report.
Thanks, sports. Now off to Mr. Lee for the principal message.
Woo!
Hey, summer's almost over. I can tell you it's been very lonely in this school this year. I'm glad I haven't seen many kids here. That means you must have had a great summer. I had a great summer, but I'm lonely. It's time to welcome you back. Welcome back to Lester Prairie Schools. Let's have a great year.
Why, thank you, Mr. Lee, for that fantastic report. Now we're on to the joke of the day with Mr. Frank and Mr. Warliniak. No. Warliniak. No. Warnananak. Warnaninak? Warziniak. Okay, Warziniak.
My wife gave me an ultimatum this week.
Unreal.
Right. It was either her or my addiction to sweets.
So what'd you do?
It was a piece of cake.
Funny joke, guys.
And from our staff to you,
have a great school year.
Uh-oh.
Thanks, sports trip.
Why, thank you, Mr. Lee, for that rough report. Sorry, I forgot my words.
Thanks, sports reporters. And now off to...
Who's next?
Drum roll.
Oh!
Mr. Lee!
Representative is here.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Radicke, for that wonderful, brilliant report.